And good almost afternoon to everybody here on Griffin, Indiana. It is late autumn. Temps are coming down quite a bit. 48 degrees ground temp, 48 degrees air temp. So quite a bit cooler than it was on Wednesday. We've leased our lime spreader. Just picked up a load of lime, and now it is, well, time to go off and get field 8 back up to snuff. Now we've got our soil sample results back. We know how much lime we need to put down on that particular piece of land. As you can see from our bank account, we've got a little bit more money than we had on the other day. That is because I've decided to do a couple fertilizing contracts this morning, and that's why we're getting a little bit of a late start to our lime application. I swear I thought that car had his right blinker on, and then next thing I know, he turns left. Huh. Any rate, today is all about getting field 8 up to snuff and getting our canola in the ground. With $63,000, I think we are just short from being able to buy any sort of seeder. So we're gonna have to lease it once again, but we will definitely be able to buy it in year 4 for our summer planting of our final crop. Come on, let's go. Let's pick up the pace a little bit here, car. I mean, it's 50 miles an hour. You'd think you would be able to do a little bit more than half the speed limit. But at any rate, just make sure this is set to automatic. Yep, automatic. Exactly what we wanted. We're going to go ahead and activate our guided steering. That way we can be as efficient as possible with our lime application. So hope everybody's Friday is going well. The end of another week. Halfway through October already. Really hard to believe that. We've got just, 2 more weeks, and then we have zombies walking around in Farm Sim 19. That's right. Be sure to remember to fire the game up on October 31st. So that way we can all see for the very last time zombies walking the streets of Ravenport, Fellsburn, or whatever other map you might be on, assuming your map has pedestrians. If it is, then yeah, take a look at them. They'll be walking the streets with their arms out, stumbling around as if they've lost all their brains. Nice little Easter egg Giants puts in for Halloween. Of course, with Farm Sim 19's release in November of 2018, it was nearly an entire year after launch before we got to see that, and it's going to be the same case with FS22. We're going to have to go an entire year before we know for sure if we're going to have zombie walkers walking in the streets of Elm Creek or the French map or not. Now, it should be pretty easy to check if you really, really are curious. Should be fairly easy to check that. All you need to do is set your date to October 31st and then fire up the game, and it should cause zombie walkers to stroll around. Pretty sure it's just a simple date check with respect to the computer date. But yeah, that'll be fun. I'll try to remember as we get closer to bring it up again and remind everybody about the special October 31st treat that you have in Farm Sim. It was available in Farm Sim 17. And I have to give you a little story about that. I bought Farm Sim 17 in November of 2016. So, yeah, I missed it. I remember watching some videos of some folks, and they were talking about it, and they showed it off. And I was like, oh, that's cool. But then by the time I had gotten the game, it wasn't October 31st anymore. So I didn't have the ability to see zombies in my own gameplay for nearly a year. Yeah, it's kind of fun. So we really did burn through the lime on field 8, getting it up to snuff. A full load and then 60% of a second load. Get that field up to snuff. So it was really in some dire need of some pH adjustment. Now, since we already have the lime, we're just going to go ahead and kind of give a little bit of treatment to our other fields until we run out. I'm not going to go and buy any more lime because I don't want leftover. I don't need to overbuy it. And I honestly don't think our fields are going to need that much lime in order to really have that big of a yield change. So, like I said, we're just going to top it off for the sake of topping it off. And what is this? Is this for the first time? For the first time in my playthrough of precision farming, we have outdated information. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. Semi-annoying, but this is exciting. All right, do I have a 3-point? Yes. 3-point. This is super exciting. In all of my precision farming play, which, to be honest, isn't a whole lot. I mean, as far as iterating through years of gameplay. This is the first for me. This is the first that I have had a need to scan again. So, what are we? We're in, we have concluded our harvest of our 3rd year. So that is 6 harvests. So, after 6 harvests, you need to scan your stuff again. Isn't that neat? Cool beans. All right, so we've got our handy dandy Kloss crop sensor here. We're just going to lease that to get the job done. And for those that don't know what the Kloss sensor does, is it allows us to basically do scanning in real time. So we'll deploy the Kloss sensor. We will activate it. We'll turn it on. And then it will scan the ground in front of the tractor. And then it will basically allow the lime spreader to know what the pH level is of the soil by the time it gets around to applying lime behind the tractor. So the real life purpose of the crop sensor isn't to detect pH levels in the soil. It is to detect the nitrogen levels of the plant growing. So realistically, you wouldn't use the cloth sensor to detect soil levels and soil need. You would use the cloth sensor to detect crop needs. So we'll turn that on. Turn this on. We'll set this up again. And now we are, basically you can see down in the mini map, if you will, that we are detecting our soil ahead of the lime, basically adjusting our soil. And really basically increasing the soil by 0.5 as far as its pH values. And the cloth sensor has about the same working width of the Bredal, which is convenient. So yeah, this is a this changes everything, to be overly dramatic. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish scanning up this field, and then we'll have to go scan our big field up by the farm, field 1. And well, at that rate, we might as well get another load of lime. Because if we're going to have to spend time to scan the field, then we might as well get it up to snuff with lime. So I'll be back after that job's done and catch up on what we did. This video is brought to you by Gizmo UK. Thank you for being a farm baron. So yeah, I'm really curious. How many of you have run into that situation where you've needed to scan the fields again? I mean, 6 harvests. That's a pretty long time. You know, if you're not playing on a geo that allows you to double crop, that is 6 years worth of gameplay, which in its own right, I think is something that is probably a rarity more than it is commonplace. So it's the first time it's come up for me since we started doing precision farming. And it makes me think now, I'm gonna have to go back and check my Susquehanna server. We are starting year 4. And we've double cropped. I'm pretty sure we've double cropped every field or every year. So I should need to rescan that field too, or those fields also. And it makes me think that, well, I'm going to run into this situation with Felsburn Revisited also pretty soon. If I haven't already. And I just don't realize it. Because again, I mean, that series is without seasons. It's far easier to go through 6 cycles of harvest without seasons than with, of course. So yeah, I'm really curious how many of you all have run into that situation where you've needed to scan the fields again because of outdated data. 6 cycles. I wonder. those of you that are real farmers, how many years do you go by between doing soil samples? Would it be 6 years typically between checking soil samples? Do you do it more frequently? I honestly don't have any idea. Now, thinking about our money situation and everything, I went ahead and I just got this Cooverland seeder and seed hopper for our seeding today. It's, I think, 6 meters, so it's a little narrower than some of the seeders that we've used recently. But it's fairly cheap. It's fairly cheap to lease. 6 meters, it's going to take a little bit longer to put the crop in the ground, but we're really not butted up against any sort of time limit. And maybe we'll have more money as a result of using this versus something else, that we'll be able to buy a seeder for our planting after we harvest our canola next year. Let's go ahead and just get this lined up, and off we'll go. Maybe with a little bit of a time-lapse photography this time around. And that, everybody, is going to do us for another episode here on Griffin, Indiana. Next week, we will be in winter of our 3rd year, which will then mean we have 5 weeks. That's right, 5 weeks to go until FS22 launches. Sound off in the comments below. What features are you most looking forward to in FS22, and what mods in FS19 are you least looking forward to losing as far as FS22 gameplay goes. I have to say, for me, one of the most impactful mods to my overall gameplay for FS19 is going to be, drum roll please, precision farming. And as far as I know, nothing like that is going to make its way into FS22, at least base game wise. So that for me is probably going to be the biggest mod that I am going to miss. Not because I can't drive in a straight line, but because as a content presenter, it, well, helps me basically pay a little bit more attention to folks in chat than have to have my mind constantly peeled on, am I going straight? Am I skipping parts? And such like that. So until next time, happy farming.